This application is live on the App Store right now, real listing, real screenshots, and a real price, 99 cents. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it got there. How to publish your application to the App Store step by step. Xcode, App Store Connect, screenshots, pricing, submitting for review, everything. It doesn't matter if you build the application with Claude or manually with React Native or straight in Xcode. By the end of this video, Apple will be reviewing it. Quick thing before we start, my team and I are opening up spots for 1 or 2 clients who are serious about their application. We take it from zero all the way, planning, building, publishing, maintaining it, a real long-term collaboration. We've been building mobile applications for years. It's what we do. And if you're building on your own, I also open a few one-on-one spots. 1 hour with me every week for a month or 2, depending on the project. Going from idea to App Store together. If that's you, please send me an email. It's right here in the description. All right, let's get your app on the App Store. Before we start, you're gonna need a couple things. First of all, an Apple developer account, which costs $99 per year. And the approval is not instant. It usually takes like a day or 2. You're also gonna need a Mac with Xcode installed. You can download Xcode from the App Store. Third, you need an app, any app. You can build it with Claude, Expo, React Native, Swift UI, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's all you need. Let's get into it. So the app that I'm publishing today, it's called Kojan. It's kind of like a unique name. I actually encourage you to have a unique name of your application, especially since this is a habit tracker. There are already millions of habit trackers in the App Store. So try to make it unique. It has widgets. The data lives locally. You can sort items. It's compatible with dark mode and light mode. You can see your consistency here. Has some transitions. It's fully native and it works very nicely. I actually built this application in the channel. I created a video using Fable 5, so if you're curious, check it out. Okay, let's get the project ready to be published. The first thing that I would recommend to do before anything else is actually to come up with the brand and the positioning of your application. I'm gonna leave the link to the blog that I'm referring here, Best Cloud Skills for Mobile Development. The one that I recommend to use is ASO Audit. So you can copy this and install it. I have actually an explanation here on what it does, but it basically does a research. I ran it here. My project was named Ember. After running this skill, I found out that there are already 5 habit trackers called Ember. Then I asked Fable 5 to come up with different names, and it came up with the following list, and I decided to use Kojan. Once we have this, let's actually work on the actual name of the app. So since this is a React Native application, you just want to make sure that the name of your app is correct here in the app.json. If you're using Xcode, you can change the name in the Xcode project. Next, you want to make sure that the bundle identifier is correct. For example, it usually is the brand name, in my case, Code with Beto, and then the name of the app. So the bundle identifier is a unique string for your application, and once you create it and publish your application, you are not going to be able to change it. This is not customer facing, but still you want to make sure that it's good, like with your brand and then the name of the application. Now I'm setting supports tablet equal to false. This is because Apple requires you to provide screenshots of your application running on iPad in case you decide to support tablets. I recommend that if this is the first time that you are publishing, set this to false because it will save you a lot of time, and you can always turn this on and add support for tablet and make sure that everything looks great. But for now, let's keep it simple. Now, something important is that if you decide to support tablet from day 0, you're gonna need to support it from now on ever. So you cannot disable it once it's supported. And if you send updates of your application and it doesn't really work on iPad, Apple can reject it. I also have this strange setting here that is saying that my application does not use any fancy encryption. This is the case for most of your applications, and this setting here alone will save you a lot of time because you don't have to manually set this to false in the website once we publish the application. So I think this is all. Another thing to notice is that the version is 1.0.0. As you keep developing your application, you are going to be increasing the version. You can only publish 1 version at a time, so we start with 1 And then if you add a new screen or something, or you do a major refactor, you maybe want to change this to be version 2.0. Okay, so we have the name, we have the bundle, we have the version. Now, another thing is that we need an app icon. So this is my icon and Fable created it for me. In case you want Fable to create your icon as well, you can check the app icon skill. It's actually a skill that me and my team created and maintain, and it creates beautiful icons that support Android and iOS with the new icon composer compatibility, of course. It uses Snap AI, which is a CLI tool that I created a while ago, and I even have videos explaining how to use it. So if you want help with your icon, just use the skill. It's also great for inspiration. Now we need to actually create the native project of my application. Since this is a React Native Expo application, I need to run a command to be able to generate the main iOS folder that we are going to use to deploy the application. This basically requires to run one command in your terminal. And I'm going to run the following: npx expo rebuild platform iOS with the clean flag. Okay, let's hit enter. This command will create an iOS folder on the left. Since React Native can target Android, iOS, desktop, web, you just want to run this command for the platform that you want to target, and this will create the native project. Okay, so this is my app native project, and we need to open this iOS folder with Xcode to be able to deploy it. So let's do that. Open Xcode, select open existing project, and in here navigate to your application. In my case, it's in my desktop. It's called Habits Fable, and then select the newly created iOS project. We are now inside Xcode. I can see the name of my application if you click on the top left. If you build your application with Xcode from the start, this is where you join us. Now we need to sign our application with our developer account. So in Xcode, you can press Command, comma to open the settings, and just make sure that you are signed into your Apple developer account. Just go ahead and add your account by pressing this button. Once you sign in, go to Sign in and Capabilities. Now this is where most beginners get scared because this used to be complex a long time ago, but now you can actually just handle this automatically. So make sure that automatically manage signing is selected, and then select your team. So right now I have Code with Beto LLC, which is my business account, but you can also use your personal team. So just select the correct one, and Xcode will handle the sign-in, and that's it. That's all. Since my application has two targets, the main application, and it also has a widget, go ahead and select the widget as well here on the left, in case you have a widget as well, and select your team as well. Okay, and now we're ready to publish. So we can send this application now directly to the App Store Connect website. The way we do that is selecting the target here. It's selecting my iPhone by default because it's connected to the computer, but since this is going to compile it for any iOS device, go ahead and select any iOS device, ARM64, and then go to the Product tab and select Archive. This will start compiling the application and make it ready for the App Store. This takes a couple minutes, so let's wait a bit. After a moment, the application is ready to be distributed, and this window will be opened. So select version 1, this is the one that we just created, press Distribute Application and select App Store Connect. So here it's just very simple, just press Distribute and that's all. Since this is the first time that we are creating this application, it's going to ask us to register it. So make sure that the bundle identifier is correct. This is the one that I want to use. This is the correct name for the application. So just press Next. And after a moment, we are done. We have a couple of warnings, but you don't need to worry about it. Just press Done and we are good. Now the application is created, the record and this specific build was uploaded to App Store Connect. So now I'm going to go to my Apple developer account and let's select Applications. And now I can see my Kojon application right here. Now it doesn't have an icon, it doesn't have anything, but the good news is that it's now created and we can click on it. So this is where we will add all the information for the application before we send it for review. But right now, the important thing is inside the TestFlight tab. Right now, you can see that the application is being processed. Now, at this point is where the internal testing of the application happens. And for that, to install the application, we need to install TestFlight in our phone. So go to the App Store and search for TestFlight. It is this one. Just go ahead and download it and open it. We're gonna need it to test our application. And after a moment, the application is ready to submit. This is the first build. Now let's start testing our application. On the left, on internal testing, I'm gonna press the plus button, and then I'm going to create a new group. I'll just call it internal. I recommend that you enable automatic distribution. That means that every new upload of your application will be automatically distributed internally for your developers, or just for you, in this case, just for me. So let's create this internal test group, and I'm gonna add people here. So as you can see, I already have a couple people from my organization. I'm going to select myself and add myself as a tester. After I did that, now I got a new email with the invitation. So you need to actually accept this. Okay, so view in TestFlight, make sure that you already have TestFlight. This will deep link into the application and will open the app so that you can install it. Now, this is not the App Store distribution, but you can still install it and verify that it will work in a production environment, because now this is gonna be like the real application. Okay, let's open it, and the application seems to be working fine. Let's test dark mode. And once you're happy with the testing, internal testing, we are ready to submit this for production. All right, so let's go to the distribution tab. This is the most annoying part because Apple requires real screenshots and they have to look good, and you need to provide a bunch of information. I publish a lot of applications, and I can tell you that the screenshots is the most painful part of publishing an application. And for that, me and my team actually created a free resource for you. So it's a Figma template. If you go to Code with Beto, just go to resources, Plutano template. I'm gonna leave the link in the description as well. And in here, you're gonna find, the template. This is a template that you can use to actually build a production-ready application. It comes with payments. It comes with support for iOS and Android, agent skills for rebranding. You can use it for any type of application that you're building. But it also comes with Figma template, and the Figma template is the free resource. So just click on it. This will open Figma and press open in Figma. You can explore the template pages here on the left. We have a template for Apple. This is how it looks. And we also have one for Google. So if you are publishing for the Play Store, this will also work for you. We also have a template for your icon. Since I already have my icon, so I'm not gonna be using this, but what I want to use is the template for the screenshots. So what I wanna do here, it's pretty cool. You can select the device. On the left, I'm going to select the image, and this is the image that I want to change. So on my phone, I'm going to just switch to light mode, since I think this will look a bit better. Take a screenshot, and then copy and delete. And then here in my Mac, I'll paste it directly. And boom, I have my first screenshot, and then you can start changing the text. Of course, you can play around with the design, but this is basically what you would do. Try to screenshot the most interesting features of your application. I think the heat map is a good screenshot to show. It's just copy and delete. You can do the same, select the actual image, paste, and boom, it's looking great. Okay, so after a moment, this is what I landed on. So I'm just gonna select the 4 layers and scroll down, export them. There we have them. This will download a zip file where you can find them. So now let's just grab the screenshots and drag them in here. Press OK, and boom, we have now the most difficult part of our application. Okay, let's add a promotional text. This is what Claude came up with. Now the description of the application, just explaining the name, the privacy by design, we don't collect any data, and that will make it easy for us as well. I'm gonna paste some keywords. Keywords are actually very important because that's how people will find your application, ASO and all that good stuff. I actually created another video on the things that I do before publishing an application. I'm gonna leave it down here. Since I don't have a landing page or a website for this application, I'm just gonna use my personal website. But you know, nowadays you can create a website in 5 minutes just by prompting. Now for the copyright, I recommend that you use your brand name. I'm gonna say Code with Beto LLC. Let's keep scrolling down. Now let's select the build, right? So now that we are sure that this version 1 works, we actually tested it, just select it, and this is the build that we're going to submit. When you create a new version, just go ahead and do the same. Select the version that you want to submit. And I recommend that you save the progress so that you don't lose anything. We keep scrolling down, we get to the app review information. My application does not require sign-in, so I'm going to disable this and hit save. If your application has authentication, you need to provide credentials for the Apple team to review it. And then we get to the final option here, the App Store version release. Automatically release this version. So when Apple approves this application, I'm going to automatically release it. But if you prefer, you can also do this manually once you are ready. Okay, so I'm just gonna save that. I have everything saved. Now, the next thing that we need to do is go to the app information here on the left. And now we get to the fun part. We need to provide a name, which is already there. This is my subtitle. So let's just bring it here. General information, just make sure that everything looks correct here. And the category of the application, it's gonna be productivity. The other one is gonna be lifestyle, so you can add 2. So if your app contains or shows or access any third-party content, you must have the rights to use it in your application, so you can set up the content rights here. Since my application does not do that, I'm good. I don't need to do that. Let's set up the age ratings. My application is super basic, so I'm just gonna say no to everything. But of course, if your app is more complex or you have, you know, other integrations, you might need to select different options here. No, 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 next, no, next. And then here I'm gonna say just not applicable, but if your application is made for kids, of course, select this option and press save. And this means our application can be used by 4-year-olds. That's good. And that's pretty much all we need to set up here. We're gonna press save on the right. So let's go to the app privacy. Let's get started. Since I don't collect any information, this is gonna be super easy for me. You can just say no, and that's it. And then we can publish it. Press publish. And here you can also provide a privacy policy URL, so I can use that and save. This, by the way, is required for all applications, so you're gonna need to have a URL. I think we're almost ready. Now, after that, I'm gonna go to the pricing and availability. Now, my application does not have in-app purchases. By the way, in case you want to learn more about in-app purchases, I would highly recommend to check out my course. I have a full lesson on payments and in-app purchases, especially with revenue cat. The reason I'm telling you this is because you're gonna need to set up some things in the App Store and Play Store. So my course actually covers both. You need to connect your App Store account and Play Store account to revenue cat, and then you should be able to set up subscriptions and in-app purchases. So of course this video will not cover that because that's a different beast on its own. But what I'm gonna do now, since I actually want to make money from my application, it's to set up a price. And setting up a price of an application, it will actually save you a lot of time because you don't need to set up in-app purchases or subscriptions. So I'm just gonna set a simple price. I don't know if people will be willing to pay for my application, so I'm just gonna set a price of $0.99. Okay, so that's how you price your application without having to complicate yourself with in-app purchases and stuff, especially for a simple application. That said, you can also set the application for free and make it available for free. Okay, let's confirm. This will basically give you the price for each country. You can change that manually if you want, but I recommend that you just select next, and select what Apple gives you by default. Now the setup availability. I want my application to be available in all countries. So let's press next, continue. Let's go to distribution again. Okay, it seems that we have everything. I'm just gonna press add for review here. And this will actually let me know if I missed something. And in fact, I did. So I need to set up content rights information. Let's take a look. Maybe I didn't save that. Okay, so it seems that we still need to do this. Oh, okay. It's just a matter of saying no, we don't do that. And let's save. Let's go back to distribution and add for review. All right, once we do that, you can actually see that the icon of the application now appears here, and we're ready to submit for review. So it's submitting. We did it. Your app is officially in Apple's queue. And by the way, everything we just did, like from idea all the way to submit for review, is exactly what my book covers. It's called From Idea to App Store. It's basically the mental model that you need to actually bring your app ideas to life. Even if you don't code, it's just a guide that will actually help you save your progress, iterate, update your application, and successfully publish it and actually make money. Link in the description. I built this exact application using Claude Fable 5 from zero, step by step, and that video is right here. Build it and then come back to ship it. See you there.